Good Tuesday morning, YouTube. How you guys doing today? It feels like forever since I've done a live stream. Good morning, allegedly. How you doing? So today I wanted to pop on real quick to talk about the fact that we are seeing a lot of people lobbying to have the Confederate statues removed. The Confederate statues were statues that were erect. Hey, making it happen, Manny. Hey, the Confederate statues were erected. Most of them were erected in place and are placed during the Jim Crow era. And a lot of people are going around since everybody is since a lot of the Anglos are dealing with white white fragility, as well as unarmed privilege, as well as embarrassment. They're embarrassed because of what the world saw the cop do to George Floyd. So since then, we have been seeing a lot of white people want to become sympathetic to the plight of the black community of Black America. I don't know why a lot of us are excited and are surprised because this. Hey, good morning, Cloud. How you doing? This is just yet another moment in time. The Anglo is very fragile about history. Okay, and so since this George Floyd thing came up, we've seen a lot of things. I hope you guys are taking advantage of really the conversation right now, because a lot of these corporations are starting to ask the question as to why you don't have more black people in upper management. You have a lot of people trying to throw a lot of dollars into the black community. My fear about that, real quick, is that the dollars won't go to the people. It will go to these organizations, a lot of these church organizations like Creflo Dollar, and a lot of organizations, Rainbow Coalition, all of that. Those dollars are kept within those organizations, and they don't really get to the people. Do you see what I'm saying? But like I said, a lot of the Anglos are feeling sympathetic to our plight once again, or like feeling embarrassed because of George Floyd thing, and they want to say that they are pro-black community. Do you see what I'm saying? And so, like I said, this is really unearned privilege and embarrassment. Now, as it pertains to those statues, I live in the South, okay? And like I said, most of these Confederate statues are of Confederate soldiers that fought in the Civil War. We know the Civil War was fought in part to maintain slavery, as well as extend slavery throughout the country, not only the South, but throughout the country. You know, there were a lot of dollars made off the back of our people's blood, sweat, and tears. So now white America has decided that it wants to be embarrassed about that. They're acting like they just realized it was so much racism, police profiling, and black death going on in the black community, not only via the hands of these police officers, but there's systemic racism that they need to address. They're making all these grand gestures. Like I said, they're starting to question the diversity of these big Fortune 500 companies. They're trying to throw dollars at the black community. This is black guilt, but a part of black guilt is trying to whitewash history. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when I'm seeing the push for all of these Confederate statues and monuments to be taken down, not only in the South but across the country, it is nothing more than whitewashing history. I do not agree that these statues should be removed. The reason why I don't agree that the statue should be removed, and I realize that that is not a popular thing to think, especially amongst a lot of black people. But my thing is, if you really think about it, why would you help them whitewash history? Why would you help them be the bad guy? Even on the Statue of Liberty, it doesn't acknowledge our ancestors as being slaves. They called us un 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 something immigrants, something immigrants. They won't call us slaves. I think of the name of it in a minute. They won't even mention that our people, most of our people anyway, were brought over here in the bottom of slave ships. Do you see what I'm saying? That is whitewashing history. And when you taking down these flags, you are whitewashing history. You are helping them, clear up their history. Their history, their greatest sin is slavery in this country. Slavery, white supremacy, and yeah, it was a no indentured service. Those were the Chinese people, the Asians. We were called on the Statue of Liberty. It says we are involuntary immigrants. That's the name of it. Thank you, Manny. But we were called involuntary immigrants. Indentured service were the Asians, the Irish, and a lot of people that traded their services to come to this country, and you stay like 5, 6, or 7 years in the servitude of white people, and then they were freed, but that didn't happen for us. We were not indentured service, we were not involuntary immigrants. We were brought over here as slaves. Do you see what I'm saying? And like I said, even on the Statue of Liberty, it's not mentioned. Do you see what I'm saying? Even on the Statue of Liberty, which was, I think, a French man created the Statue of Liberty. Did you know that there are chains at the feet of the Statue of Liberty to represent slavery? You can't even see them unless you get up close to them or ask. If you're doing a tour, if you ask the person about the chains on the feet of at the Statue of Liberty, that is to mark slavery, the slavery that was in this country. You see what I'm saying? They won't even show them to you if you don't ask them. That is whitewashing history. Do you see what I'm saying? And so your Manny said, right, I'm aware of what's on the statue. Are you Manny? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that there are chains at Lady Liberty's feet. Do you see what I'm saying? And that is to mark, like I said, the system of slavery that was in this country for centuries. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you do all of these things. They do all of these things in an effort to whitewash history. They don't want to be reminded that they treated us like we were less than cattle. They didn't even see us as human beings. Even now, it's still in the Constitution that we are considered three-fifths of a human being. Do you see? It's not in the Constitution, but we are considered three-fifths of a human being. The United States of America has the highest number of people incarcerated in the world. That is another form of slavery. Do you see what I'm saying? Mass incarceration equals slavery. Do you see what I'm saying? But they don't want to be reminded of any of that, and they feel embarrassed right now. Do you see what I'm saying? And they're trying to act like they had no idea that white supremacy, racism, police brutality, and other injustices, that happen in the black community. White people are acting like, well, we never knew this. Thanks for educating me on this, honey. You was reared up in racism. Why are you acting brand new? Do you see what I'm saying? That is the thing that has got me shaking my head, and they're simply embarrassed. They're embarrassed. They want to. They think it's a bad look what Chauvin did. So now they're making these grand gestures. You see what I'm saying? But this is only a moment in time where they're not embarrassed anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? Things will, but they never changed. But they won't be putting on this mask of "we're so sorry. We had no idea that you were so oppressed by white supremacy," even though we benefit from it day to day on an everyday basis. Do you see what I'm saying? And have been doing that since slavery. Okay, you hear a lot of people saying, "Well, none of my family, I never had slaves." Yeah, but you benefit from slavery. Whether your family owns slaves or not, you benefit from slavery. This country still to this day benefits on slavery. Do you see what I'm saying? So why help them whitewash history? Why the big kerfuffle over taking down these statues? They need to be reminded of those statues because that reminds them of their barbarity. Do you see what I'm saying? It is a living monument erected during, most of them, like I said, were erected during the Jim Crow era. Okay, they need to be reminded of that. Don't take those statues down. No, why? Why? Why help them? Why help them whitewash their history? Even in the history books in schools, they don't want to mention. If they mention slavery in the history books, they want to make it seem like it was some kind of indentured servitude. No, you need to atone for your original sin. You need to atone for the fact that you brought millions of peoples to this country unwillingly, kidnapped a half a continent of people to bring them over here to this country to build this country up. And even though we are a couple of hundred years removed from slavery, you still have not atoned for your sin. You still have not set stuff right with those people. Look at reparations. Have we gotten any reparations? The Indians done got reparations. The Chinese done got reparations. The freaking Jews done got reparations. Have black people that built this country gotten any type of reparations? No, we have never even gotten an official apology from the United States government for our ancestors being enslaved and tortured for thousands of years. I'm sorry, for centuries. Do you see what I'm saying? So why help them take down, why help them whitewash history? I do not agree with that. You see what I'm saying? And it's ridiculous. Like I said, I live in the South. Everywhere you go, there's some kind of, and then another thing. Let me slow down, y'all. Klaus said, fun fact, the Statue of Liberty was originally supposed to be a black woman. Yep. Breaking the chains of slavery. Of course, America rejected the first image. You're absolutely right about that, Claude. I've seen pictures of that first statue that was erected. That she had some kind of cloth wrapped around her head. She had a head wrap on or something like that. I should have tried to find that picture, Claude. You're right, but there's actually photos of that. Have you seen those photos, Claude? Yes, it was the he built it and everything. He sculpted it. I'm sorry, in everything, that first statue that was rejected. But anyway, yes, they're benefiting. They're benefiting even to this day from slavery. Via mass incarceration. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we know that in the Constitution it says, it is illegal for you to, own people now, to hold them in some kind of bondage. I can't think of it. I'm prefacing the words, so I'm making it my own. But except if you're a criminal. Okay, except if you're a criminal part in the Constitution, that is the new slavery. Do you see what I'm saying? And like I said, the country has, the whole world, has once again risen up. I read somewhere that some organization in this country was asking the United Nations to intervene in this, concerning this issue, right? But what you don't know, what a lot of people don't know is the United Nations has forever condemned the United States of America about its system of chattel slavery and white supremacy oppression. Do you see? They've thrown it up to America's face forever. I just saw a video of Iran the other day, standing with, they were protesting, their form of protest in Iran. Their government they asked for a moment of silence and they stood up and chanted "Death to America." And they had their fist in the air. You see what I'm saying? The United Nations has always condemned the United States of slavery. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, has it ever moved to do anything about it? No. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip. It don't make no sense. Klaus said, if America truly feels bad about our treatment, one, give us our reparations. Two, retry the cops acquitted in the murders of Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, and the many others. For start, you're absolutely right, Clark. Did you know that nobody has ever been arrested, even for or convicted for the killing of Tamir Rice? Tamir Rice was 12 years old. Do you see what I'm saying? And the little girl, I can't think of her name, she was killed in her home like Breonna Taylor. Nobody has been arrested in Kentucky for the murder of Breonna Taylor. And that's exactly what it was, murder. Okay? But anyway, as far as those statues go, I don't believe they should be taken down because you're helping them whitewash history. You helping them, cover up their embarrassment. Do you see what I'm saying? Why do you think all of this sudden? I turned on my Amazon Fire Stick the other day, and it says we here at Amazon stand with the black community. I was like, well, dang. White fragility is at an all-time high. Okay? The embarrassment is at an all-time high. Why do you think you saw so many of the Anglos out there? They were out there not only because they were not even, some of them were protesting George Floyd's murder. Some of them were, I'm not going to lie. But some of them were out there, most of them are out there because they're angry with the government. Even we saw a lot of the white supremacists and those other homegrown terrorist organizations burning down, black buildings and black businesses and trying to destroy black communities under the guise of we're protesting for George Floyd's murder. Do you see what I'm saying? Racism is its own entity in this country, especially in the South. Do you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of these governors, a lot of these, senators and stuff like that in the South are refusing to remove those statues. And I say, good, don't remove them. Why? Why remove them? Let your children ride by those statues and do some research as to why they are erected. It is to signify that you are proud that the South once thrived on slave money, on blood. So I don't think they should be taken down. Why help them whitewash history? Don't do that. That's not right to me. No, they need to stay up. Learn the true history behind those Jim Crow era statues before you want to take them down. Even black people, your children are never going to see that. Your children are never going to drive by those statues and ask you what they are there for, what they represent. I even heard of some branch of the military was banning the Confederate flag. Why? Why? You need to know your enemy. You need to know what happened to your people. I don't agree with taking those statues down. Okay? They need to be embarrassed about it. They need to atone for their sins. They need to atone for what they did to our people. And throwing money at somebody and taking some statues down and changing the history books, that's whitewashing. That's called white fragility as well as unearned privilege. They feel like they have earned the privilege to rewrite their own barbaric history. And I don't think that that's right. I didn't have time to make a video on this today because y'all know if you've been on my channel for a while, I do volunteer work since I retired. And COVID or no COVID, I'm back out there. Just let me say, with my mask and my gloves and everything else. But still, I didn't have time to do this because it pissed me off because I have been hearing this conversation brewing for a couple of days. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think that it's right. I don't agree with it. And if a lot of black people really know the history of those darn statues, I truly believe that they wouldn't want them taken down either. I think they need to stay up as a reminder. That is a living symbol of chattel slavery, of America's barbarity to a whole race of people. Why would you take it down? I don't agree with it. Klaus said Breonna Taylor should have been 26. Yes, I did a video on that, Klaus. Oh, Klaus said I saw your video on this, but instead she's another martyr in our struggle. You're absolutely right about that. You know what? We need statues erected. We need statues erected of Michael Johnson and that other guy. I can't think of his name right now. That sacrificed their lives. Because was it 2015, 2016, 2017? If it wouldn't have been for Michael Johnson and that other black man that were ex-military that sacrificed their lives, the killing wouldn't have slowed down back then. We know it's ramped up lately, but it slowed down because those two black men, paid the sacrifice because they couldn't stand to see the people being gunned down in the street like dogs. We need a statue in the black community erected to them. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of history that needs to be on display in this country. And the barbarity of a whole race of people that have benefited from white supremacy, racism, and systemic oppression, that does not need to be whitewashed, in my opinion. You even got black people like that Candace Owen chick. Do you see what I'm saying? She is so delusional and dizzy and lame. That health is so retarded. I think she on the autism spectrum or something. Cause that bitch is slow. Okay, she done lost her raggedy mind. But she ain't the only black person that campaigns to be up under the Anglo. She ain't the only one. You hear a lot of black people on YouTube spreading white supremacy, racism ideology. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna come down on some freaking statues with an inanimate object, which is a representation of America's barbarity, come down on some of these black people like Candace Owens and what is his Officer Tatum, what is his name, Anthony Brian Tatum or whatever his name is, Brandon Tatum or whatever, and ABL and out of those brainwashed, those willfully ignorant black people as well. See, a lot of people play a part in the system of white supremacy racism. Do you see? A lot of people play, our people play a part in it as well. You're playing a part in the system, uplifting the system of white supremacy racism when you get on here online and spew all of this ideology from the white man. You get on here and uplift white supremacy when you call George Floyd a criminal, Miss Candace Owens. You see what I'm saying? All of that is white supremacy ideology. And they're benefiting as well off the backs of your people. That is ridiculous to me. I don't understand it. Cloud said Wall Street here in New York City was also built. Yes, it was built off slavery. Unfortunately, not many of us talk about it. Absolutely. Black people were forever traded on the stock exchange in Wall Street. You're right, Cloud. Even to this day. They're still benefiting off of black labor via the prison industrial complex. That's a big business. It's also traded on Wall Street. You're right, Cloud. Let's be real. Protesters took down a statue of a slave master in Bristol, UK. Yes, I heard about that. I don't think they should have took it down. That's whitewashing history in the UK. People need to be reminded of it until they atone for it. Why hide it? I told my children the same thing. They should have no chance to erase, the evidence of the brutality that they have done. I absolutely agree. Why would you erase it? Why would you try to? You helping them hide it? Do you see what I'm saying? They want to feel better. What you're seeing right now is a lot of people, a lot of Anglos that want to feel better. They want to feel comfortable again, benefiting off the system of white supremacy, racism, to the point to where you got all these conversations about race going on. Everybody acting brand new like they didn't know that we have been treated and been oppressed for centuries. During slavery as well as after slavery. They want to act brand new. I'm not impressed by that nonsense. It's ridiculous. Child. Paul said, this is some of our biggest problems with us. That's right. That's right. We don't study our enemy enough at all. And we're so quick to want to forgive and forget about our treatment. You're absolutely right. I did a post about that, a post about what was it? Some black guy dabbing up a police officer. So you're dabbing up the people, the organization that is want to shoot you down in the street like dogs, okay? And you want to dab him up. Do you see what I'm saying? I made a post saying that this is gonna be up to us women to rear our warrior class. People thought that I was saying, we need to go out and raise hands. Somebody said on that post that never has there ever been a people, including African people, that sent their men to be reared up as warriors, against women. And actually, that is false. Because if you knew your African history, you wouldn't have said that. Because ancestral history has shown us, as far as Africa goes, that there were many, many female matriarchal-led tribes, okay, matriarchal-led communities, and also female-led warriors, okay. Some of the historical, what are those warriors on Wakanda? That movie, what is it, Black Panther? Those women that are representing those soldiers in Wakanda, that was an actual tribe in Africa. They were warriors. There were a lot of battles fought and won with females in the lead. So that is incorrect also, but I wasn't talking about taking your son out there and teaching them hand-to-hand combat. I was talking about in the mind, a warrior class in the mind. But if you guys seen my video yesterday, you would have seen all those young people that we think aren't paying attention that are really paying attention. That's why so many young people and teenagers are speaking out, on social media. I saw that little tennis girl, Coco Golf. They're calling her the next Serena Williams. She's speaking out. She says she talks to her grandmama, in the same day that her grandmama was marching for, which was civil rights 50 years ago. She's still speaking about it today. And she's absolutely right. They should not have to be speaking about this 50 years after the civil rights movement. You see what I'm saying? So you got a couple of times in history, a couple of things that go so awry that the Anglo will try to will put on a mask and act like it cares about what is going on in Black America. It's all the rules, but when they start dealing with their white fragility and they start feeling embarrassed by their ways, by their system, then they want to, like I said, throw money and act sympathetic and all this and all of that. Do you see what I'm saying? And if you can take advantage of it, briefly take advantage of it. Stop letting these monies that you're trying to throw at your community go to these organizations which are going to steal the money from your community. And advocate for yourself when it comes to that money. And let them. Hey, we need money in this Black community. Okay, you got them talking about police reform or something like that. Police reform has been talked about in this country before. Do you see what I'm saying? Nothing. How you going to change the system of the patty roller when it was created to hold you down and murder you in the street and capture you when you try to run away from the slave master? How do you really, for real, plan on getting rid of that? Getting rid of the system that was set up to protect them. Do you see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But I am glad that our young people are, speaking up about racial injustice because it's an ongoing fight. I talked about, I always talked about it. Some of y'all are on here. I always talk about the freeborn. That's why I did that video yesterday because these young people are educating themselves. They are fighting for themselves. We spend so much time talking to children. We don't spend time talking at children. We don't talk to them. We don't talk to them about the history. But with the invention of the internet, they're learning this history for themselves. And it's a good thing. Do you see what I'm saying? They're hearing a lot of older people. Part of the reason why they don't, pay attention to a lot of us older people is because they see a lot of older Black people online siding with the white man, like Candace Owens, like a Brandon Tatum, like a ABL. You hear, Black men speaking against Black women, speaking derogatorily about Black women. You hear Black women saying that they're not going to support the George Floyd protest and let the Black man take care of himself or advocate for himself or whatever. All of that is white supremacy ideology. Do you see what I'm saying? Now you have a lot of bitter women that will feed into that. But you got to be a fool if you think I'm not going to advocate for the Black men in my family. You got to be out your raggedy mind, And then Black men, they so butthurt, some of them, the one that advocate against Black women, because they are simply jealous. If you step up your game and start doing what you got to do and stop being scared, you won't have to be intimidated by the Black woman and her achievements. Why do we have more Black women in politics right now than we have Black men? Yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson, that old dog. Yeah, why is it more Black women in politics than Black men? Do you see what I'm saying? So you really have to ask yourself, when it comes to this gender war conversation, I'm gonna call it that for, because that's what we go through in this what we call Black YouTube. What part did you play in this? If you are a bitter man or a bitter woman, what part did you play in this? Why is your masculinity so offended by my Black female achievement? What part did you play in your emasculation? Do you see what I'm saying? As far as the women go, you being bitter about these men and you saying you ain't gonna advocate because you made a bad choice. Okay? You made a bad choice and you got a hold to the wrong man and he done hurt your heart or whatever's that happened. But what part did you play in that? Okay? What part did you play in it? Do you see what I'm saying? And so, yeah. Terry Crews should just come out, Klaus. Some of that stuff I don't even talk about. They're so ridiculous. I didn't even want to bring up that Candace Owens chick. Like, she's an embarrassment to black women. She a whole clown. I'll tell you, the girl looked retarded. She looked like she on the autism spectrum. And Terry Crews, he looked like he touched too. I don't pay attention to those people like that because they're ridiculous. They don't even count in my mind because it's ridiculous to advocate against the betterment of your own people. Like, you got a lot of black people that are Trump supporters. Do you see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. How can you advocate, against the betterment of your own, the betterment of yourself, you know? But we know that we have a lot of trauma in this black community. Do you see what I'm saying? So instead of just hammer back and forth on these people all the time, I would rather, discuss, discuss some things that can be changed. But some of these people are older, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But like I said, it made me feel so good when I see these young black people, out here, rallying against injustice. They're just not going to have it. And who taught them that? They taught themselves that, really, at the end of the day. Because a lot of us never spoke to our children about the system of white supremacy racism. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's just the truth, And that's right. Let's be real. Bitterness does not serve our community. We got a lot of bitter men, got a lot of bitter women. Deal with your own stuff. What part did you play in it? Do you see what I'm saying? Why are you bitter? If you're a man and you have allowed yourself to become emasculated, you allowed yourself to become emasculated. What part did you play in your own emasculation? Was it when you start laying down with them Anglo women? Huh? Like, ridiculous. What part did you play in it? And the same thing with the bitter black women. They want to blame everything on the black man. What part did you play in your abuse? Okay? You jumping into these relationships because for a lot of women, any old man will do. Choose better. Have enough self-respect not to be with somebody that's dysfunctional. And when they mistreat you one time, don't go back. So you won't become bitter. Don't be bitter, be better. The same thing for the men. That's where a lot of this gender war stuff is stemming from online. A lot of black men are angry with black women because they have to pay child support. Don't it take two to make a baby? What part did you play in you having to pay child support? Didn't you voluntarily give your sperm to this woman and then decided not to take care of that baby? What part did you play in it? Why are you upset for something that you helped create? But now you bitter. That's all I'm trying to say. And as far as the women, if you don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. Okay? And no, any old kind of man won't do. That's all I'm saying. Sure. You have to start pointing the finger at yourself first. And we are adults. Everybody's accountable for their own nonsense at the end of the freaking day. And so it's just ridiculous. Manny says, but when I say this, they say I'm hating. I be like, Lord, hate to see it. Hating on what, man? The fact that they make bad choices and that's why they bitter. Do you see what I'm saying? And they want to call somebody like me bitter because I'm telling you, how am I bitter? I ain't got no baby daddies. Okay? I'm not fighting for nobody to take care of my child. I don't have no kids. Okay? I don't believe in letting nobody run over me. Nobody. I'm not a victim. That's all I hear when I hear this gender war stuff going back and forth. That's why I don't even deal with, just on the side note, I don't deal with the issue of swirling. If you want to lay down with the beast, lay down with the beast. Do you know your history? Did you give up? When I see a black man laying with a black woman, you know what that tells me? It tells me you gave up. I see these black women out here lusting after these Anglo men. You gave up. You gave up. You know, that's all it tells me. But I ain't finna beat you over the head about what you do, up under your clothes. That's on you. That's why that is not my platform. I can care less who you lay with. Okay? If you want to commit a form of bestiality, do that. That's on you. That means you gave up. Those are the people that you don't go to, in a time of trouble when it comes to your community. You look right over them and keep going, because ain't nobody got time for that mess. Don't nobody have time to coddle adults about their choices. That's why that is not my platform. I simply do not care. That is on you what you choose to do. If you don't have enough self-esteem to stick with your own, that's on you. That's not my platform. I don't deal with that. I don't care. It don't make no sense. Ain't nobody got time for that mess. I see so many people like you protesting injustice and police brutality. But video after video of a whole lot of black people, just bigging up the man, bigging up the officers and stuff because they said something nice to you, or they took a moment for a photo op. And you so proud of that. Oh my God, we're getting somewhere. Massa ain't mad at me right now. Girl or boy. Really? You're protesting because an officer put the knee on the neck of a black man in front of the world until that man it pretty much asphyxiated that man to death and looked in the camera and didn't flinch about it. But because they want to take a knee or a photo op with you, and in the background, they still killing you. You see what I'm saying? But because they want to do a photo op and make it seem like, oh, we're for the community, you good with that. No. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. Like I said, this ain't nothing but white fragility. This is unearned privilege if they are embarrassed right now. But while they are embarrassed, it will behoove you to take advantage of it. Okay? Just count it as a part of your reparations. All right? But what you don't need to do is make them comfortable enough to where they feel like they are not embarrassed anymore. You see what I'm saying? And things will go back to, pretty much usual. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to happen, And like I said, that's why I know those Confederate statues should not be taken down. And then on the side note, them Anglo women that some of our unfortunate black men will kill themselves to sleep with, no matter what they look like. Those women, the ancestors of those women, they are the one the daughters of the Confederate soldiers and the wives of the Confederate soldiers that were slaves. Those white women, those are the ones that had those statues erected. Those are the women that lobbied for that nonsense. Okay? Them very ones that you trying to lay with, because the only thing they want is your DNA anyway. Those are the ones that had those statues erected. That's where that came from. It's just ridiculous to me. I don't understand. But like I said, hey, do what you do. Klaus said the 7-year-old young girl from Long Island is truly amazing. One, I saw the video too, RT. Okay, Cloud, it lets me know. Yeah, there's hope for us, absolutely. And the Most High got it. You're absolutely right, Cloud. Manny said, in those videos of people electric. Child, okay. Well, that's just a photo op. You're right about that, man. It's disgusting. Cloud said that was disturbing. It was absolutely disturbing. Anything to get a pat on the head from Mr. Charlie. You see what I'm saying? AKA Mr. Oppressor. AKA get approval from the master. A lot of people, a lot of our people, just a lot of our older people. I'm gonna say, what, 35 and older? A lot of them only seek acceptance from Uncle Charlie. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what they seek acceptance for. Even in the midst of you seeing how brutal These people treat your people. You are still electric sliding with them and dabbing them up. It's ridiculous to me. And now you want to join them in whitewashing history? Why are you so sensitive to a freaking statue? That's your history as well. That is a symbol of your oppression. Why take it down? Why have it removed? That's ridiculous to me. It doesn't make sense. You saw a lot of stuff don't make sense, you know. But yeah, yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm not gonna hold y'all too long. I just want to come in and share what I felt about the taking down of these Confederate statues. I don't think they should be taken down. Leave them up. It makes them so bad, especially in these southern states. They think they're doing something because they're fighting so hard to keep them up. I say keep them up too. Keep them up to expose to the world your barbarity. So that your kids, you have to explain to your kids what they mean. Don't let them whitewash history. That's ridiculous. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it when black people, start saying they want these statues taken down. Why? They need to be reminded of. They need to be reminded of the fact that they need to atone for the original sins. And if this country never atones for its original sins, it will be destroyed. We're not going to be the ones to destroy it. They are going to be the ones to destroy it. They own self. Okay? Klaus said Malcolm and Martin never did the twist. Okay. Okay, with white supremacy. Some of us are embarrassing, right, and cheapen the movement. You're absolutely right, Klaus. I absolutely agree. Never would I ever be doing some nonsense like that. This is ridiculous. This is defeating the whole purpose. Why give them a pass? Why make them think it's all right just because they're fragile? They want to give you some attention right now or throw some money at you. You think that's special? Okay? A lot of black people, it seems like it seems like, are in the midst of some kind of abusive domestic violence relationship, with the Anglo. You see what I'm saying? Say you are a domestic violence survivor. You know that at the height of your domestic violence issue, the person will beat you up, and then it will be a honeymoon period. The honeymoon period when it's, I'm sorry, I won't never do it no more. I love you. Please let me make up for this. And then after a while, a couple of weeks later, after the honeymoon period is over, the beatings begin already again. It seems like some of our people are in a domestic violence relationship with the Anglo, with white supremacy. So right now we're in the midst of a honeymoon period. Okay, but after a while, you're going to get your butt beat again. Okay? That's all that I'm seeing is going on right now. They got embarrassed by one of their own because he took off the mask and he showed the world who they really were. So they are collectively embarrassed. They want their mask put back on. They want it to be comfortable. Don't you know I had the nerve to see some Anglo woman. I think she was on Good Morning America and she was a mom. And she said she had to speak out against George Floyd's murder because he was crying, he was saying mama, when he was being murdered. And so that really, spearheaded her into letting her children know, how unjust that situation was and how black lives are just as important as everybody else's life. I'm thinking, girl, you look like you about 40-something years old. So after all this time, you just now feel a way about something like that. After all the Tamir Rices, after all the Trayvon Martins, after all the Sandra Blands, on and on and on. After all the Emmett Tills. Okay? After all the Jim Crow era lynches. After all the centuries of history of our ancestors being enslaved. Now you feel bad because he called for his mama? Okay. All right. Okay. These people are ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. People are acting brand new. It's incredible to me. I'm like, really? We doing this? But every couple of years or so, you'll get something to happen and they will become embarrassed about their true nature because their mask has slipped and they need to pull it back up. So, like I said, they throw money at you. They talk about, defunding the police department. Start talking about racial injustice. We had no idea that we treated your people so bad for so long. Okay. Even though they benefit from it on a daily basis. But they had no idea. We want to make it right. We want to help you, black people. You niggas have been hurt too much. We apologize right now. That's what I mean by domestic violence relationship. Okay? Because it all ends after a while. They've done this thing over and over again. This is not the first time. It won't be the last. Okay? Child, please. Anyway. Klaus said we can criticize Reverend Sharpton and Minister Farrakhan all we want, but they never did the electric slide with the police and other. You know what you're right about that, Klaus. You're right. Those men, they got older and they decide to work the situation in a different way. People talk a lot of stuff about Al Sharpton, but and they're right about a lot of it. Do you see what I'm saying? He is all of that. But he also makes a way behind the scenes to open doors for other black people to get you into who you want to see. That's what he do too. So on the outside, it would appear that he's sucking and driving and pretty much black hustling the community. You see what I'm saying? And he does. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's perfect. But he still opens a lot of doors behind the scenes. So you need your Al Sharptons. You need what you think your Louis Farrakhan's are. You need them to open them doors, to get to them backroom deals that a lot of people don't know about, but a lot of stuff is done behind those closed doors. You know what I mean? I don't trust none of them either. And you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be that gullible. But a lot of people will talk more crap about Al Sharpton than they will some of these Anglos like Tim Wise. Okay? Or what's that lady's name that speaks on racism? Jane something? I can't even think of her name. You are profiting off of the oppression of black people. Do you see what I'm saying? Just like an Al Sharpton. What is that lady? Her Jane Elliott or something like that? And Tim Wise. I know y'all know who I'm talking about. Those black people that appear to be speaking out against their own people when it comes to racism, white supremacy. Jane Elliott, thank you. But all they're doing is still benefiting off of the oppression of your own people. Okay? They get paid thousands of dollars to do that kind of talking. And black people do the same thing. Look at what do you think old girl is? What is that Candace Owens? She's benefiting off of your oppression. So when she comes on camera, why are we surprised that she would say something like, George Floyd is a criminal? Do you see what I'm saying? She is gone. But even Al Sharpton is not as bad as a Candace Owens or Brandon Tatum or a Anthony Brian Logan or any random Trump supporter. Okay? Even he is not bad as they are. So when you say you don't trust Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and them, I hope you don't trust them either. Okay? Because Al do what he got to do and all the rest of them, but they still open a lot of doors in the background. You know what I mean? So that you can do what you do. So yeah. But they will target somebody like Al, or Jesse Jackson or whatever, but they won't target a Jay Elliott or a Tim Wise. Do you see what I'm saying? Because what are they doing besides benefiting from white supremacy racism? They're benefiting from it as well by talking about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Just like a Jesse Jackson, like I said, or a Al Sharpton. But we're not talking about Jane Elliott and Tim Wise. But we are talking about Jesse and Al. You see what I'm saying? Jane Elliott and Tim Wise, they can't do nothing for you. They can't open no door for you. They can't get you in some of these backroom meetings. They can't do that. They can't do that. But they're hustling off of your oppression. They are still benefiting from your oppression. And that is just the truth of the matter. That's just the bottom line. So that's just how it is, people. Everybody benefits off of the oppression of black people and systemic racism, but including some of the black people, you know, on the outside. But at the end of the day, how much of your soul do you have to turn black to speak against your own people? Like a Candace Owen or the other ones I mentioned. How much of your soul do you have to turn black? And how does that go down your throat? How does that come out of your throat? You have to be mentally ill, or you just simply have to be in a place to where you figure, well, everybody benefiting off of our oppression, or everybody benefiting against, beating down the black man or woman. Let me get in on it too. Don't I deserve it? I'm black. I might as well get a piece of the money as well. Is that the mentality behind something like that? When you lay down with an Anglo, what is the mentality behind that? When you lust after that beast, what is the mentality behind that? You see what I'm saying? You lusting after that beast, but you can't lust after it quietly because you feel bad. So you have to beat down your own race of people because you want to lust after the beast. How does that work exactly? I heard Candace Owens, is it true that she's married to an Anglo man? Girl, you got your nerve. She needs to shut up for the rest of her life. Because like I said, she looked goofy. She looked like she was one of them kids that was made fun of in school by the pretty black girls. She looked like she's bitter. Okay? She looked like one of those women that a lot of black men never paid attention to in school. She looked like she was bullied by the popular black girls in school. Or some black girl that looked better than her because her body looked like it's a little boy. Some big booty, big titty, wide hip black girl took the little black boy that she was had a crush on in high school, and now she want to pay all the black people in the world back for it by really making herself look bad, because she only making herself look bad. That is what I think about that Candace Owens chick. Okay, that is it. Just nothing. I think nothing at all. Okay, same way I think about that Brigham Tatum chick. You had to quit the police department because it was such a racist organization. But you want to tell these Anglos while you talking about your own people, well, you figured you'll benefit off of them and profit off of them since they made you leave the police force and side with them online so you can make thousands of dollars speaking derogatorily about the plight of your own people. What do you have to bury inside of yourself to be able to do that? Or you weren't accepted when you was a little black boy and you were bullied by the other black boys in school too, because you was a little lighter than they were. You see that all type of dysfunction. There's all type of madness be going on. Do you see what I'm saying? That is all I see. I just see madness. That's all. Point blank period. Madness is nothing but madness. So I don't pay attention to those people because it's ridiculous. Like, you sound like a fool. Even the Anglos think you sound like a fool. You shucking and jiving for the man, and they're paying you to continue to shuck and jive for them. Is it she's married to an Anglo? Yeah, I heard she was married to an Anglo. It don't make no sense. But she gone on. You can't save everybody. And she can't be saved. She started out speaking against white supremacy racism. But then she sided up and married one of them. Shame on you. But do you, home girl? Do you? Nobody paying attention to you. Little silly thing. Talking about some George Floyd was a criminal. Girl, if you don't shut up, shut your little goofy, lame. She look like one of them girls I used to bully in school. You can always tell. Because I used to be a mean girl. Shit, I'm still a mean girl. Never said I wasn't. But you can always tell those that have been bullied in school. Okay? But if you're too weak to stand up, that's on you. You're going to get rolled over. That is the most important lesson that you need to teach your kids in school, is to stand up no matter what. Kids are mean. Kids are mean for a reason. It's the pecking order, okay? And if you can't compete, you're going to get pecked over all by yourself. I had a nephew in the kindergarten this year, for school shut down over the COVID. He came home one time crying Because the little boy pushed him off the monkey bars. One time. Because he didn't hit him back because he thought he was going to get in trouble. Okay? Because we don't play when it comes to school. Told him, you better go back to school tomorrow and push him back off of the monkey bars. Don't come home crying about some little boy no more. He went to school the next day. That little fella tried to push him off the monkey bars. We got a call from the school. Said Brandon pushed the little boy off the monkey bars. Well, what do you think was going to happen? He's not going to be bullied. Better teach your kids to fight back so they won't end up like a Candace Owens or these other coons around here. Or better, because you made a bad choice in life. That's all I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, Cloud said Candace got her bag via a lawsuit for discrimination. Thank you, Cloud. Now she's speaking against us. Right, what a joke. She's an absolute joke. I don't see why people get hyped up about that clown. She's bitter. Who cares? Let's be real, says she has no sense of propriety. People are grieving, and she couldn't hold back 1 second. Well, she did that to Shuck and Josh. She did that to get a pat on the head, I guess, from her husband. You see what I'm saying? That is the only way she can get attention in this whole world is to speak against her own people. Because she's so insecure of a person. You know. It's ridiculous. But I take people like her as a joke. I don't take them seriously. That's why you've never seen a video about me speaking about Candace Goofy Owens. You see what I'm saying? Somebody like that, I would bully in real life because, bitch, you weak. And that's on her. That's what she get. That's what I think about him. Oh, well. Sure. Anyway, y'all. Y'all done made me. It's going to be so hot down south. I live in the south. And I thought the heat was going to kill the corona. That is a lie. That ain't here. Heat ain't killing no corona. Evidently, according to the stats. Because it's been 90 down here for about a week. And they say the cases is rising. So I guess they was wrong about that too. Girl. She's garbage. But Jesse Lee Peterson is far worse. Child, that old man ain't choked off his false teeth yet. Oh, decree like he got sundowner's disease. What's wrong with that old man? He's weird. Now, he's really weird. They all are weird. But he's weird. He's really, really weird. He need to worry about getting his teeth fixed, okay? His gums so probably fragile, you can't even what do you call it? A Polydent won't hold him in place properly. Because he's so old, his gums is too weak, even with Polydent to hold him in place. That's what's wrong with him. You can't take these people seriously. I would roast them all day. And Candace the clown over there, she's just not. She's really just whatever. She's not, she's just not. She's not anything. She needs to be right where she is, okay? Like they really do. They're just not. Not important, not, just not. They're just not. Not even worthy. Just not. Not even cute. Candace ain't not even cute. Just not. Like, what do you have to offer besides that big old head on your body? Like, you're just not. And that's why you bitter. Okay? That's what's wrong with her. She's just not. Ugh. Not important really at all. Because, ugh. Anyway, y'all got me ready to go down the petty road. I got to get off here. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please hit that like button on the way out the door if you haven't. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining the channel. Do you see what I'm saying? But I really want to bring up, to broach the subject of these, it's going up to 90. It's going up to 90 in New York too, Cloud? Yes, honey. We've been having a heat wave down here. It's so hot outside. I'm mad. Every time I step out the door, I get upset. I'm angry about it, okay? I'm in a mood because I have to be out there in it. You see what I'm saying? Even if you got air in your car, you still got to get to the car. Do you see what I'm saying? Or you got to get out of the car. It's so hot down here, y'all, it'll make you mad. All right? Like, for real. Like I'm in a bad mood to sundown, okay? Or at least until I come to the house to stay. It don't make no sense. That's how hot it is. And I'm mad because they said that the heat was gonna kill the Rona. How hot it's gotta get? I still gotta wear my PPE and 90 plus degree temperature. Anyway, like I said, you guys have a nice day. Hit that like button on the way out the door. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to do a live stream, but child, sometimes I just don't be feeling it. Okay, but I had to come on here and speak up about all this nonsense that I've been watching forever. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's all just ridiculous. And if you can profit from it while it's going on right now, please do so. Excuse me. Please count that as partial reparations. Okay? Please do so. Please profit from it if you can, any way you can, because you deserve it. Your ancestors deserve it. If they want to give it to you because they feel guilty, please oblige them and take it. Don't trust them, but take it because you deserve it. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you guys. Peace.